Today we're looking at the Faro Shuffle Play Dead playing cards, and you can pick them up for 15% off in the description below, thanks to Rare Playing Cards, who also sponsored this video and sent me this deck. So make sure to go and check them out in the description below, and let's get into this video right now. Now you'll see that the tuck box is a wraparound design of a skull made out of a bunch of strings. So it does go all the way around. Only the front has the main design though. Everything else is more just complementary to the skull. The bottom of the tuck box has Faro Shuffle ad copy, and the top says Play Dead with a skull in the middle. The inside tuck flap says the game is never over with a spade pip, and the inside has two skulls. The rest of the tuck box is all white, so let's take a look at these cards. So first, let's take a look at this back design. You'll see the same skull that was on the front of the tuck box, both on the top and the bottom, with a circle in the middle of it, making it a two-way design. And it also has a medium to thick white border depending on where on the border, considering it is not perfect all the way around the edges, unfortunately. So it's almost like a circle back design, since all the swirls and the strings almost go in a circle, but it's not a circle back design. So we're definitely going to have to get into, is it a cardistry deck or a magic deck and whatnot at the end of the video, because, well, it's not exactly perfectly obvious. You'll have duplicate jokers, saying joker in the top left and bottom right. It is a skull with wearing a jester's hat. One card is in blue and one card is in red. Now the number cards are not quite normal. You will see that the placement is not normal. They're all recolored, they're all reshaped. Now the first thing you'll notice is that they are done in that same dark navy blue instead of the normal black. The second thing you'll notice is that they are reshaped to where all the pips are a little bit more chunky. And lastly, you'll see that the placements on these cards are a little bit strange as well. And all of them are all different from the normal standard that you'll usually see, but they're also all one-way number cards, which can make some really fun magic trick effects. But first, here's what all of them look like. Here's the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And here is what the clubs look like. Your reds have a mixture of the normal red, a rustic red, and a burgundy colors, depending on which part of the shadow you're representing. The placement is the same as in the black cards, but first I want to show you, of course, what the pips actually look like. So here's diamonds, and most of the time you'll have a diamond in most decks where the sides are actually shorter and height-wise it is longer. These are perfect squares, just turned diagonally. And here are your hearts. One thing I really do like about all these number cards is that they all have the shadow on the one side. It does make it really cool. Next, let's get into the court cards. First, we have spades, diamonds, clubs, and hearts. So as you saw, they are completely bicycle standard, except for their own version of bicycle standard. So they take the same way that all the hands are. So if the King of Hearts is here, these cards will be here too. They're facing the same direction. Everything is just taking the normal bicycle standard and give it its own twist. So instead of being 2D, it's all 3D. The clothes are all in the strings, so it's all custom work. Instead of the faces, you're going to have the skulls. The king with a headache actually has a headache this time. So instead of just the sword going behind his head, it literally goes through it and out the other side. I wish they could have either put it into the heart and punctured it at least a little bit, or when you could slightly see it through the eyes, because currently you'll have like those holes for the eyes because it's a skull, obviously. But why couldn't they have just like slightly seen the sword go through there? Because it's perfectly passing through there. I just think that would have been kind of cool. Your 3 aces are all completely custom as well, all enlarged and done just like a normal 3 ace pair should. I'm going to pretend like I didn't just say 3 ace pair. If it's going to be a custom deck, this is how it should be done. You should have your number cards slightly customized. You should have your court cards customized a little bit more. You should have your aces even above that, and then your ace of spades at the top. This is excluding jokers and ad cards, of course. Unfortunately for this deck, though, the ace of spades is just like the other 3 aces. So here's what your ace of spades looks like. And although it does look good, I'm not saying it doesn't. It just doesn't elevate itself from the other 3 aces even higher than that. I'm just like, you did so well. You did so well. You went bam, bam, bam. And then the ace of spades stayed just as level with the other 3 aces. And I was like, ah. But, does it look really cool? Yes. It just doesn't hit my sweet spot. And then for your 2 ad cards, of course, you always have a Riffle Shuffle logo and ad copy for Riffle Shuffle. And the other ad card is more of an artistic card, which you could either put in a deck display or on your wall. And this one is a skull ad card, where it just has the skull logo with a white backdrop. And no, I don't mean this kind. Now let's see if this deck can Faro. From top to bottom, it clearly Faros well. Although my cut wasn't fantastic. And even better from the bottom. Here's your fan of the back design, and here's your fan of the faces. And it is a good day because we have smooth sides. Now for stock and finish. Now for stock first, obviously, you have 2 different ways of figuring out how a stock feels. You have the thickness, you have thin, middle of the line, and thick. And then you have how it actually feels in your hand, which is buttery, middle of the line, and crispy, which is the word I like to use. Just because crispy reminds me of bacon, and I love me some crispy bacon. If you like floppy bacon, feel free to unsubscribe. It's right. No, I'm just kidding. You can still be subscribed if you like floppy bacon, although I hate to say it. So for thickness, I'd say it's either middle of the line or a little bit thinner. Now, of course, there's only really 2 stocks that you can print through at USPCC, but every time it's pressed, it's a little bit different, and I'd say it's a little bit on the thin side. Now on the crispy and buttery scale, which is such a weird way to judge cards, I'd say it leans a little bit toward buttery. I wouldn't say it's crazy buttery, but it leans here and it goes doop, just a little bit on the buttery side. Now if you're a magician, I think you could buy this deck. I think I could use it for Magic. I think I probably will end up using it for Magic because I like carrying around cool decks of cards places, and I'll be carrying this around somewhere and someone will say, hey, can you show me a magic trick? Like it always happens. So you'll be carrying this deck around, and I do not think that this would be a deck that you can't use for Magic. You can easily tell what everything is. It might take a little bit of deciphering considering it's not standard placement of all the pips, but I think you can definitely figure out what it is at a moment's notice. So I don't think that'll be a problem necessarily. Like if you're just trying to do a sight force or something, that could be a little bit difficult. But if someone actually has it in their hand and they just look at it like, okay, tell me what this card is. And like that wasn't very fast. It also wasn't very slow either, and you know it was a 9 of spades, right? So it really shouldn't be a problem if you're a magician. I just don't think it's especially suited for magicians, since those things, the recoloration, the back design isn't very either super simplistic or it's not really one way or the other. So although I think the deck is cool, I don't really think it's suited for Magic. In addition, the 2 ad cards aren't really like anything for Magic. Just no reveals in the cards. They're just 2 extra ad cards. There's no double backer, blank card, double facer, duplicate card, nothing. So they're not duplicate jokers. They're both the same, but they're different colors. So there's not really anything for magicians necessarily. Cardists, I think you can use this for cardistry. I definitely do. I don't think it's a cardistry deck, but I do think it is a deck can be used for cardistry. I would use this for cardistry, I think you could make a really cool cardistry video with this deck. Collectors, I think this is where 100%, if you're a collector, get this deck. I think this is where it lands itself too. One, it's a Riffle Shuffle deck, and Riffle Shuffle has put out tons of decks. So seriously, if you like Riffle Shuffle, if you like collecting cool playing cards, just like put in a deck display, this is definitely one you could put in a deck display. So I would definitely pick this deck up if you are a collector. The main category, although I haven't ever done this category before, is a hype deck. Does it look really cool? Yes. Was there a lot of time put into it? Yes. But for the most part, it doesn't really lend itself to any specific place. Like, the only 4th one is a playing card person, like, who actually just likes to play games. And, like, I just feel like I'm saying that for all of them. For magicians, for cardists, for collectors, yeah, pretty much. Playing card people who just like to play games, like, it's not really intended for a specific audience, which I feel like is kind of losing me. So, if you like cards, I'd get it. if you are saying I should use this for a certain thing, and you don't buy things unless it's for Magic or for cardistry, it's probably ain't your deck. Now, if you want to pick up the Play Dead playing cards for 15% off, you can get that down in the description below. Now that you actually know what the cards look like, how they feel, how they faro, etc., 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 you know now what these cards are, and you know that you should pick them up, because honestly, they're really good looking cards. So that's why I have them. That's why you should have them. So 15% off down in the description. Hopefully I can save you some money. Now, hopefully I did save you money. You're welcome. So I didn't just go and do all that for nothing. Go get the cards. You're welcome. Don't make me waste my time and energy putting together this deck review, and then you don't even get it. It'd be so sad. Either way, make sure to support Rare Playing Cards, because they did send me this deck, and if you guys like checking out all these really cool deck reviews, really go thank the people who sent me the decks so I can do the review for you. Not only you're welcome from me, you're welcome from them. So thank you, Rare Playing Cards. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. If you haven't subscribed already, I already do a deck review every single Wednesday. Man, I'm just a thank you king today. You're welcome. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. This is Card Perfect, signing off. Oh, not signing off yet. It's time for the top 100 decks. Now we have a new top 100, and you'll have to check out what all 100 of those are on my birthday in November. So you're just going to have to wait. So make sure to be subscribed and have that notification bell turned on so you get notified when a crazy cool video drops of all of those freaking cards. And it's changing all the time. It changes, let me see, every Wednesday. Every day to get new cards. It's changing all the time, and you'll never know. It's going to change every year. You got to be subscribed. It's how this works. Alright, for real this time, for the second time. Card Perfect, signing off. Oh, it was the second time, so I did a peace symbol. Haha.